Hey there, welcome to my tutorial on how to make a balloon flower. Now chances are if you're a balloon twister you already know how to do a flower, but maybe you are just starting out. A really valuable lesson that I learned fairly early on is that you may read a book and it tells you this is how you make a flower. As I'm sure you may have already learned though, that's certainly not the case. There are many different ways to create a flower that are out there, and indeed any creation. So what I really want to share with you today is the favourite way for myself to make a flower. So no really new concepts here, however maybe it'll start to get you thinking about what's your favourite and what do you like to put out there. So this particular sculpture uses one balloon for the petals of the actual flower, and then you have a second balloon which will be used for the stem of the flower. Now my preference is to use a 160 for the stem, whereas a traditional 260 for the actual petals. So we're going to start off by making a really basic petals flower with the loop twisted petals. So what we're going to do is, starting from the nozzle end, fold about that's a hand's width, and basic fold twist there, and put the knot through to help lock it in place. So now you're going to repeat to create another 5 bubbles. Now a tip that might help you out, you might find easier, rather than always twisting the balloon or folding the balloon to the centre and twisting in, to actually twist off the point of the flower first before you fold and twist in. It might be a bit of trial and error to get the right size. Another go. You may actually find that easier to twist into that midsection. And finally, last but not least, petal number 2. Now, as you do, you just arrange things so your petals sit in place. Now, sometimes you do have a bit left over, and there's a couple of different things you can do here. One is use the remainder of the balloon to create the centre of the flower. So by twisting off, say, a small 1-inch bubble, put the remainder of the balloon, fold it round the back edge to the opposite side of the balloon, and you've created yourself a centre there. See? Now that's not usually the way I like to do it, but that can actually help you to give it a more finished look in a quicker way. But and we now remove that excess balloon. Now, again, as I'm sure you all know, there's many different ways to complete things. So rather than there just being, hey, this is how you make a balloon flower, there you go. Consider how you like to make your flowers, and is there another way to give them more oomph? Alright, so I'm left with the basic flower design. Alright, so now what we want to do is take our 160. So, determining which is the back of the flower, they both look the same. Now, with the 160, you want to pop it into that gap that's left behind by petals meet. So getting it in there nice and close. Now with that nozzle end of the 160, twist it in place, as you do, and now the flower stem is sitting at the bottom. Alright, but we're not finished yet. So what I like to do is have my flowers with the petals facing outwards. To help achieve this, what you want to do is twist off a small bubble at the back there. So it's approximately 1 inch long. Follow that with a small bubble that you want to twist with. And you'll have something that looks a bit like this. Now, what I find is that faces the balloon flower out to the recipient, or whoever might be looking at it, just to help show it off a little bit more. Alright, so it's always good to then, it's better, to make some leaves for your balloon flower. So that's what we're going to do next. Now, as you can see, we've got a nice long stem to play with. What I do like to do is to actually just create one leaf. So do that by twisting off a length of stem that again you think looks good. Now I've done it to approximately between 10 and 15 centimeters there. Follow this with a loop twist for your pedal, and then a small bubble that you also want to put a twist. And that creates a single leaf that sits out to the side whilst not causing your flower to tip uncontrollably. Now, to help give that leaf a little bit of leaf shape, bend it up, just hold it between your hands and squeeze the air back and forth a little. That'll help to establish a leafy shape. So it's already starting to look kind of cool. If I do say so myself, of course. Now, you can straighten out that stem, or I like to give it a bit of a curve, leave it as it is, because it does, I think, enhance the balloon aspect. So show it for what it really is. Alright, so we're not quite finished yet with this balloon flower. The alternative that I often like to use is to actually create a centre of the flower from one of those handy scraps of balloons that you may have lying around. Now, what I've done there is inflated it just to a small length, about 1.5 inches, and what I want to do is tie those two ends to one another. That reminds me of a little red nose. Yeah, of course. Twisting, knotting, good old double knot I find is always good and reliable, nice and easy. Alright, so then going back to your flower and placing that in the centre, grabbing either bits of tied off balloon, twist it around and through, just to make sure it stays in place. Now, what I find that really does is say to the recipient, "Hi, I'm a balloon flower. Look how balloony and cartoony I am." And that's what I really love about it. Now, just the finishing touches, even though, yeah, that's pretty cute and maybe you're done with it, if you've got a Sharpie handy, like I do, hiding over there, you can actually draw a cute little face on it just to give it just that little bit more cuteness. Alrighty, so I have a predictable little face that I like to use, but I find it's quite cute and effective, and I'll show you in just a moment. So basically, two cute little pupils and a big smiley face. And wow, does that not just say to you, "Hi, I'm a happy balloon flower. Take me to your happy home." Thanks very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy discovering what you love best about your balloon flowers.